Welcome to Senior Break. I'm Dawn Medici with Oxford Township Parks and Recreation.
And I'm Marie May with Addison Township Senior Center. And our special guest today, and we have back from last year, is Jenny Woolyoung, and she's going to tell us some stories.
Yeah, welcome, Jenny.
I think they know it's our Halloween show.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming back this year.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's nice to be back.
Yes. Hopefully you have some new stories you can share with us this
I
year.
was just going to say, anything new?
Oh, let's see. Well, as you know, we had the fall equinox just last week, and the veil is thinning between the two worlds right now.
Okay. Wow.
So we're experiencing a little more activity. We're experiencing, maybe our loved ones on the other side are coming closer. It's easier to get in contact with them right now.
Okay.
So that's all taking place. So maybe all of us are experiencing a little bit of something.
Okay.
So if we wanted to get in contact with them, what do we do? What's the first step? Do we have to ask somebody, or do we call somebody?
You can actually do it yourself. The best thing to do, especially, is before you go to bed at night, just say to whoever you're trying to contact, I'd really like you to come to me in a dream, because that's the easiest way for them to make contact with us.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So you could just say, can you please come to me in a dream? I'd just like to see you, see how things are going, whatever. Now, it might not happen the first night or the second night, but I would try it for at least 3 or 4 nights. And usually, you will have a dream of them.
Now, is this something that would be frightening? Or would I have to say, don't scare me?
No.
Or is it
Because
just-
remember, they're your loved ones. They've
Okay.
got your best interest at heart. They're not going to try and scare you.
Okay.
They probably have a very loving relationship, and so they're going to come to you in a way that will not scare you.
So right before I would fall asleep at night, I would think about the loved one that I would like to contact, and just ask them to come and talk to me, basically.
Or just
Be
you can
present?
Yes, and just say, I'd love to see you. Can you come to me in a dream? And just want to touch base, see how you're doing, just making contact.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds easy enough, but
It is.
it's hard to remember, I know, to do these things.
Well, and you have to be consistent. Like I said, it might not happen the first night or the second night, but usually within about 3 or 4.
Okay.
Oh.
When my grandmother passed away, I kept thinking, I'm going to see my grandmother, because we were always very, very close. And I never saw her. I thought, okay, so I tried this process. It took for me, it was about night 3. And all of a sudden, here she was out dancing on the floor with her sister. They were very close, having just so much fun. And she stopped over and she said, "Hi, honey, how are you?" And then she kept dancing, and it's like, okay, I'm glad you're you're having fun and enjoying yourself.
Right. And it makes us feel better knowing that wherever they are, they're okay.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. So if you do this and they don't come through in a dream, could it happen while you're awake during the day?
Yes. Probably for just the average person, a dream would be the easiest to do it. But for other people who may be a little more sensitive, you could meditate, and quite often they'll come to us in a meditative state.
Okay.
So I guess-
Is there any kind of a sign that you could get while you're in your kitchen working, like through electricity or?
Well, you've probably had this experience yourself. Sometimes you might smell something. You might smell your mother's perfume.
Okay.
You might smell your father's
Aftershave
tobacco.
or-
Whatever. And that's just a sign, obviously, that they're there, letting us know that they're with us and they're.
So would that be a sign that they are saying, tonight, I'll come to you in your dream?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
I don't think necessarily. I mean, it could be, but I don't think
Okay.
it necessarily has to be.
Okay.
on
So
something
it
they
could be
have.
one thing and the other one could be the other thing.
Or sometimes, how at certain times we may think of our loved ones on the other side more often than we do others.
Right.
For no apparent reason. It's just, comes to us. And I think that's also a sign or something to signal to us that, yes, they're trying to make contact.
So,
Right.
so when you're asking in
Wow.
your dream, can you just say, could one of my loved ones come, or should you be specific
No,
and say,
be specific who
Okay.
who you want to call.
and by their name and by who they were to us?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta get this right, so when I do this tonight,
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
won't have Jenny there to ask.
So Jenny, is the fall, like when the season changes to, you were talking about the equinox, right? That change, and in the fall, is it more prevalent in the fall? I
It
mean, only
is.
because maybe it's the stories of the movies or the October Halloween that makes it feel like, oh, this is
Yeah.
like a spooky type of time of the year. Is it more prominent during this time?
You know, it seems to be. It seems to be that everything is a cycle in life, and of course the cycle of the year. And this seems to be coming back to the same time. For whatever reason, the veil is just thinner, usually from September till probably middle of November, end of November. It seems like we have more experiences.
During that time
Yes,
of the
yeah.
year? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know exactly why,
Right.
but it just seems that there's more experiences and people actually are able to see people
Okay.
and come in contact with people from the other side much easier.
All right. So you're also part of a paranormal group?
Right. I'm semi-retired now.
Okay. Yes. Well, that's great. So being part of a group, what does that look like?
It's a great experience because quite often our cases we have either we've referred by other people who've had an experience, or they'll go to our website and they have problems. I shouldn't say problems. They have activity in their homes or their
Okay.
businesses, and they don't know what to do about it. They're frightened. Sometimes they're confused. They don't know what quite to go about it, and so they'll contact us, and we'll go out and do like usually a pre. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like an assessment of?
Yes, kind of get an idea of exactly how high the EMFs are, electromagnetic fields, where they're coming from.
Right.
Is it a result of bad electrical problems?
Okay.
Is it because of some water issues coming in?
All
Is
right.
it, there's lots of different things that
Sure.
that would create that. But it also creates, if they are high, an atmosphere where people become, they can get headaches, they can get nauseous.
Wow.
It creates a lot of physical problems for
Okay.
people. And so we try to figure out if that has anything to do with the issues that are
Okay.
going on with that.
All right. Well, we need to go to break, but when we come back, I'd love for you to share some stories with us,
Okay.
maybe some examples of your experience in going into somebody else's home,
Okay.
and or any personal experiences you may have and
Okay.
are willing to share. So,
Okay.
all right.
Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back from our break, and we were talking to Jenny Woyoung about different things that have happened. We left off with talking about spirits, if a company or a person needs them, find out that they're in their home or business. So now I'd like to know that if you do find one in the home or business, what's the next step? How do you either get them out or leave them there or know that it's okay?
Well, it all depends upon the client. For instance, some of them just want to know what it is. It's not their imagination. It's not that they're going crazy or something like that.
For sure we want to know, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes they just want to know, that there is something, and then they're okay with it. Other people have flat out told us, I don't want it to be gone. I just want to know what it is or
Right.
who it is.
Okay.
And that's okay too. A lot of them want to verify that it's a relative or someone that they've known.
Right.
Maybe it's not unusual to have maybe a previous owner continue living in the house, even though they're physically not there. But
Right.
so that's not unusual. Most people that we've come in contact with aren't really necessarily want them gone.
Okay.
They just want verification and.
That would make you feel better, though, if you thought it's not me, something is
Right,
here.
Right.
right.
You know, so it's
Yeah.
Now,
not
do you ever talk with them or walk them through like how to deal with that individual that's there? If they don't want them gone, or
Normally, what we've experienced anyways, is that they'll just say, okay, I know it's Uncle Harry, you know?
Right.
And so we'll indicate to them too, now if you don't like Uncle Harry doing this or Uncle Harry doing that, or you want him to stop, you talk to him, because just like you would in a human.
Sure.
You know, if he had a body form, he's still in spirit, but he is still
Okay.
that energy. And so you would just talk to him in that, as you would like say, Uncle Harry, I really don't want you going into the kids' room because you're bothering them. Can you not do that?
Okay.
And Uncle Harry won't do that.
right? Wow.
You know, it's just a matter of letting them, you know, just as if you were talking to him, that individual.
Sure. Wow.
Yeah, so they're aware of that.
Okay. So, what's it been like for you? Like, do you anything personally happen to you, or
Several personal things have happened to me. On one pre-investigation we did down in Warren, we were going around doing all the EMFs and things of that nature. And the investigator I was with asked me to come into like a little workshop they had in the basement. And
Okay.
I'd been in there earlier, but I wasn't feeling real comfortable with it. And so she goes, come on in here, I want to show you something. And we saw, and as soon as I walk in, I get this terrible, terrible headache. And I'm thinking, oh, I just want to get out of here. And she goes, look, here's his death certificate. And I said, oh, what did he die from? She goes, oh, he had, what did he have, a stroke or something? I can't remember right off
Okay.
whatever it was. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave now. She goes, no, that's not what he had. He had an aneurysm. It wasn't a stroke. What did he? He had a disease of some kind. But the first line was that he had an aneurysm.
Okay.
Well, and that's what I was feeling in my head. So I thought, just want to get out of there.
Wow.
Anyways, later on, come home. I'm home about maybe 20 minutes, and I'm hearing some unusual noise. Everybody has noises in their house, and you're familiar with those noises.
right?
But I was hearing some unusual noise, and I'm thinking, what is that? And it continued on for a little bit, and I'm thinking, oh my God, Mr. Walker. He was 83 years old.
Brought
He
him
came home with me.
You brought him home.
How does that happen? I mean,
I think because I felt his aneurysm.
Sure.
And he felt connected. And I think, unfortunately, he was earthbound.
okay.
And no one else could see or get in touch with him. So I think he decided that
He'd be
I was
safe
a
with you.
candidate
Oh, wow.
to get in touch with him.
Right. So how did you send him on his way?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was an interesting thing. I started reading a book about how I could help him get to the other side. But then it was on a Friday night. I was laying in bed and I'm thinking, you know how you know somebody's right there?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm thinking, and I look and I can't see him. I thought, why don't you show yourself to me? I did see him one time, but I couldn't see him. So I rolled over, tried to go back to sleep, and I thought, he's still here. And probably within a half hour, I could hear all this water dripping in my kitchen, and the pipe had burst. So I, run upstairs. Of course, I'm blaming him because that's where he spent most of his time upstairs.
Okay.
It wasn't his fault, but that's what I did at the time.
right. I would. Why not?
And then a couple other days, a couple other little things happened, and I was just frustrated with him. And I said, okay, I opened the door and I said, you're gone. You're out of here. You can't come back anymore. Close the door. That was probably not the best one of my better moments
Okay.
at time. I should have helped him try to get to the other side.
But you were worried about your house. All
Well,
the things he was doing. So
I
we're going to say that was okay.
Yes.
That was okay, what you did.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it was really frustrating. But it was a good lesson also for me, because when we have our clients and they would say, oh, I can hear this noise or this, and it's very unnerving, because you're doing something and all you're hearing is this crash, or you hear this bang, or
Right.
and so it does kind of startle you, and it really brought me back to reality as to, yes, this is why people are afraid.
Right.
Yeah, it's just unnerving,
Yes.
not
Yeah,
knowing.
because what you don't know.
Yeah, on that.
So, wow, that's,
So,
What a-
Mr. Wheeler, if you're out there, I'm sorry.
so you've not seen him since or
No.
come in contact with him again? Wow.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Do you have someone that you continually see or are in contact with? Like they'll be here one day and maybe 3 months will go by or a year will go by and then you see them again, or
No,
not really?
not usually.
Okay.
Usually it's whoever comes to me will show themselves. We try to figure it out. Like just a couple weeks ago, when I was still working, this lady I worked with, her daughter and son-in-law both passed away within almost a year's time.
Wow.
And they had a little boy, baby named Jack. And all of a sudden, Jack came to me, which is kind of unusual, only because normally I don't see, but I hear from more dead people.
Sure.
I thought, oh my gosh. And then, of course, his mom and dad, Andy and Amy, I kept seeing them. I thought, what is going on? I don't understand what's going on. So I got in touch with the grandma that I used to work with, and I said, I don't know. I phrased it as I had a dream, because I thought that she'd understand that better.
Right.
And come to find out, apparently Jack, his roommate a year ago, died when he was in college. He came back home, and I think it was maybe 3 or 4 days before I contacted her, his best friend was hit by a drunk driver.
Oh no.
So it was just a way of, I think
And
reaching out. And I just wanted to let him know that his parents were with him during this time. And
Right. Wow.
yeah, so you never know who's,
Or what's going to come to you, or what
Yes.
you'll see, or
Right.
and how you feel. Wow.
right, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that you're like a vehicle that they could contact because they know that you'll understand. They'll know that you'll
Right,
hear them
yeah.
and give the message to someone that may not be able to get the message,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think somebody described it to me one time, and they said, just think if your car broke down and it was dark outside and you were on an unfamiliar road, and you, since there were houses around, but you saw a house maybe down further that had the light on, you'd probably go to the one with the light.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
That's a
mean?
good way, good way.
So,
All right. Well, that's some
Yeah.
good stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing.
oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. So we will need to go to commercial. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Senior Break, and today we're having a fun show, and we have Dawn with us.
Yes, we're still
We
here.
didn't scare you away.
No.
And we have Jenny here with us,
Yes.
and we're just going to
Welcome
wave
back.
to you back.
Yeah.
Welcome back for our Halloween show. Okay, we're back with Jenny. Did you have more questions, or we kind of lost some of ourselves?
No, yes, we did.
You know?
I want the rest of me back.
I know. We'll have to wait till the end of the show, I guess. and,
Yeah, really.
you know,
Right.
give the spirits some of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most recently for me, I'm just finding it so interesting. I was over last fall. I did a conference over in Port Huron and was at, I think it was Fort Gratiot.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a paranormal group that came there, and we did a tour of the hospital, the lighthouse, and they had I don't know the terms of all these, the pieces of equipment, but the sticks that
Was it a tuning fork type of a thing?
possibly, and then, would to remind me of an AM radio, like
Oh, uh-huh.
that
Yep.
they would have out,
Yep.
and then they actually had some cat toys on the floor,
Right.
and had lots of conversation to try to get the people that are living there or to talk to us
Uh-huh.
and tell us their names. And so that was really interesting to see and actually be a part of.
Right, I
It was unbelievable. So
Oh, good.
we got to see and hear some things, and which I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't experienced it myself.
And
Right,
once
so-
they wake up your mind to some of these things, you're
Right.
curious.
I am curious.
And that's where Jenny comes along, because
Right.
you need to find someone that'll understand what you're asking,
Right.
and yeah. So it's,
I think there's a lot of people, there's a lot of interest out there. It's just sometimes we're so preoccupied with everyday living and different
have to
things
laugh
going
on
on.
this.
And but
excuse me, I'm just not used to seeing you guys without just your head. You look very good. I'm sorry for laughing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go. I'm sorry, I'm trying to laugh. Okay.
But I think everybody has, not, I shouldn't say everybody, many people have at a point where they're ready in their life, they have an experience in their life, something that changes them.
Right.
And they're curious, or they want more information, or they were strictly not a believer at all. And one or two little incidents happen, and they're probably the biggest proponent of
Right.
of paranormal activity. Or
Right. Now, does you having that activity and this, I guess I would call it a gift. I don't know that if it's you call it a gift,
Yeah.
but does it really weigh on you emotionally?
You know, most people have to learn to regulate it, so to speak. It can, because like if you're sensitive, and you can just walk into a room and feel everybody's emotions, or feeling makes something, or you walk through, let's say, a corridor, and you can pick up people's emotions. So you really have to learn to block it off,
Okay.
basically, because I think the more sensitive you are, the more obviously you pick up
Sure.
things.
So if there was a room full of people, because I know they have some programs where the psychic will have a room full of people in front of them, and then say, I'm feeling somebody's, and they'll give a little story. Is that what you would feel? Is that what he's feeling or she's feeling when she's picking up something from somebody in the audience?
Probably, and they're probably picking up a lot of things, but it's usually the one that's the most predominant, or kind of runs to the front, basically, so to speak. Because you think of us, they're spirits, but they still act like humans
Right.
to us.
Okay.
Yes.
So what happens? The loudest, the pushiest, the whatever, maybe the one that has the biggest message to give.
Is the one that comes
Right.
comes forth, or
Yeah.
is front of mind.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, now I have a question about if a hotel is burnt down, like we had heard recently that one had, and I had always heard the stories that there were spirits in the hotel. What happens to those spirits?
Well, generally speaking, remember, spirits are just that. They're energy sources. They don't have a body, so they're not going to burn.
We know we lost ours.
Right. Yeah,
We're
we
there.
did.
Yeah, we know.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
So they're not going to burn as
Okay.
we think
No,
of them.
no.
And a lot of times they're in that hotel or whatever because they're attached to that property. Even though the property may have burnt, or parts of it have burnt,
Sure.
they will still generally stay there because they're attached to even the land.
Okay.
So once you build on top of that, normally many of them will stay, especially if they've been there a long time.
So where did they go while they're waiting for it to be built? Are they just like right there in the area or in the ground, or?
No, remember, they're
Just
energy,
floating.
so they can go wherever they
Okay.
would like to go. But, just like you go, shopping, you go different places, but you go home at night.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
And that's kind of, if you think of it in
Yeah,
those terms,
Yeah, yeah.
that's kind of what they do.
Yeah,
Right.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
so,
So any other stories that you have?
What would you
Or
like
you-
to hear about?
Oh, okay, so I have like a question
Sure.
about cemeteries. Can you
Okay.
walk into a cemetery and see spirits? I mean, because I guess our entertainment world has
Yeah.
made, at least for me, as when I was a child, made me scared of cemeteries
Oh,
because of the
okay.
movies and things just really spooky. Now, as an
Right.
adult, I understand, and I'm not afraid to go to the cemeteries anymore.
Yeah.
But
Especially the old ones that have reputations.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So, do spirits stay in a cemetery, or is that just kind of
You know, it's interesting. I've heard a lot of stories, and a lot of paranormal investigators like to go to cemeteries, at least when they're starting out, because usually you get some activity of some kind.
Okay.
You know, and I wasn't so much a true believer because, well, I can go into cemeteries, but it doesn't seem to bother
Bother,
me.
okay.
And other people it does. So I'm just
Right.
giving you a personal. But there was a cemetery out on. It's about 36 Mile Road and Van Dyke, and it sits off the street. I
Okay.
don't remember the name of it or anything. It's an old cemetery. We were doing some research for someone, and they had said that this cemetery, and there's supposed to be a tomb out further back, and what it is, it's just, you know, it has grown over, and so.
Sure.
Anyway, so I went to investigate. It was during the day, and I had my little recorder going. And all the tombstones were kept very nice, like some of them that were from the 1800s. You could tell they were newer stones, so the families were still there and taking care of it and everything.
sure?
And as I'm leaving, I guess I talked to myself a lot. Because as I'm leaving, I said, oh, this cemetery is really very nice. It's kept up, you know, really nice job and everything. So I get home and I go through my recorder and I'm listening and there's nothing. And to get to the end and I'm saying, you know, it was kept up really nice. And you can hear a voice. It's I think it was a gentleman, and it says, "Thank you." You know.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. So that was. I mean.
Yeah.
He
Well, when you said that.
Acknowledged that,
Yeah.
that you saw that it looked so
Right.
nice.
Yeah, that was nice. When you said that they go in there, the newer people go in there and see if there's any activity. What are they expecting? Do they have machines that they go in with? Is that like you're just saying
Right.
now, or do they just expect? They don't expect something to pop out at them.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
I was
They'll
scared.
a lot of times they'll take their equipment. Usually they'll have a recorder with them.
Okay.
They'll have some type of a EMF recorder, just or device,
Sure.
so they can tell if there's some energy.
Right.
If you go during the day so much, that's about really all you need.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
at night.
So is it better to go, is there a particular time of the day to go, or to anything, whether you're going to someone's home or a business or like the cemetery, it doesn't really matter?
You know, it really doesn't matter, but we find it easier to go at night, and there's a
Okay.
couple reasons. One of them is because usually we wouldn't even start till, let's say, 9 o'clock or till it gets dark, and usually it's because the world's a little bit quieter then.
Oh, all right.
You know, people are maybe at home, they're not out traveling.
Sure.
So everything's
Relaxing.
quiet, so you're able to pick up more sounds of
Okay.
things of
Okay.
that nature. That makes a difference. Another one would be because we're looking for energy, and energy quite often has some type of a light source
Sure.
attached to it. So it's easier to see light at night versus during the day.
Gotcha.
It's almost like, you know,
Right.
a flashlight. You can see
Yeah.
a flashlight at night
Right.
much easier and further away than you can
Right.
during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So normally night.
Well, this has been good.
Yeah, great information.
I'm ready for Halloween
I
now.
know,
Are
me
you?
too.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Just
thank you,
I'd like
Jenny.
to get the rest of my body back. So,
Thank you for coming in and
Oh,
giving us all
my
this
pleasure.
information, and hopefully you'll come back in again.
Oh,
Yes.
I'd love to.
And for sure next Halloween.
yeah. Well, thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
And happy Halloween to
Yes.
everybody out there.
Yes.
Happy Halloween.